The monster's in the house just looking to get out.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been watching a few of my winter videos and you hear me talking about the clutch, but I don't really go into too much details. Over the winter I had a lot of instances where I was over revving, hitting the rev limiter on the 600 e-tec here. I didn't really explain too much what was going on. Two reasons. One is we did some clutch work on this sled and it's not proven. It's stuff I read on the internet. It's something that I had Adam at BYR. Thank you so much, Adam. I had Adam try out for me and we tweaked it and fine-tuned it. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did. We replaced the spring in the primary TRA clutch and we replaced the Helix in the secondary clutch. Adam gives us a lot of gold here. He talks about the inner workings of the clutch and shows you how it works. So thank you so much for the time, Adam. Really appreciate that, and hope you guys enjoy this as much as I did working in the shop with Adam.
What are we doing here, Adam? What do we got going on here?
So these are the bolts that hold your Helix in. So we're just trying to get them off there so that we can pop the Helix out, put a new spring in, put a new Helix in for the guy.
So he's got this piece bolted into the end of the shaft to hold the spring compressed.
So as we back this bolt out, it's quite long. So there's your Helix that's out, okay? So this is a stock 48. So 48 is your degree of your ramp angle, and that's what your sliders or your rollers, sorry, are actually running on. This is your back cut, and then their new one obviously it's got the same. You got your different pitch with a different back cut, so it just upshifts and downshifts a little bit better depending on your angles and your cuts. So life's good, man. You put in a 43, 47. Disclaimer: I didn't do any of the homework on the clutching, so we'll have to. See how it goes. So
I did the research on the clutching.
But yeah, so there's your stuff.
You can believe. I heard you can believe everything on the internet.
Yeah, for sure. Putting helixes in. We want to make sure that our lines or our arrows are marked up. Same thing, so that our helix cuts are on the right spot. This is where you bring in the sound clip. They come with a yellow Scotch grip on them from the factory. I like to put blue on there because I don't know here exactly if we're going to be taking these things back out or what the deal is. So some blue Loctite in there, keep them good and tight, but also able to remove them if required.
Perfect. All torqued up, ready to roll. Nice.
So this is your adjuster. With it being the old style that's threaded in, you gotta Loctite it or it will fall out, guaranteed. There's no three ways about it. So liberal amount of red Loctite, turn it in, and we're gonna do our final torque when it's actually in the sled.
You want to adjust that when you're setting the...
Absolutely. You adjust it up once it's in the sled. Set your belt height.
Sweet.
These are all your wear items. I'm looking for these crush washers. Make sure they're good. These things look like they're new. Looking for premature wear on all the sliders. So just check them all, make sure they're all looking good. See on this one here, it's starting to wear on the side a little bit.
Okay.
So that just tells me that likely the last set of O-rings were getting wore out and it was getting kind of cockeyed in there. Then I go in here, I'm going to look for my rollers, right? I'm going to make sure they They roll good. I want to make sure I got 2 washers on each side. So you got a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
But not a whole lot. These washers are just like a Bakelite. They'll break and smash out, and then they'll have all kinds of play. And then I look for my ramps. So your ramps are here. You can see this got a little bit of a profile at the bottom, but other than that, it's smooth right through the shift pattern. This one's starting to get a little bit all the way around here, but nothing too crazy. You'll see them where they're like washboard all the way out, and customers will be complaining that the sled's kind of jerky. Well, I don't know why. So
because it's not letting it,
it's
roll right
out,
up smooth.
So
yeah,
it's just kind of hammering along, and off it goes. Right, it's still working, but it's not right. But so on the top, you got clickers. I don't know if you ever did anything on clickers, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
So this is the same part that is here, except for these are the adjustable pins. But same theory. So as you can see on this bolt, it's all off center. So as you turn this inside there, your ramp starts going up or down, and that's how you adjust your RPM. You want to take some RPM out, you pull it down, it takes a longer slide. That just rides on there like that, up and down.
That's an adjustable one for doing on the fly, like a race team would have, where this...
Or trail guys too. I know a lot of trail guys I put these in for. You know, if you're going to be riding, let's just say you're riding in Cochrane, and today it's nice groomed trail. Tomorrow you get 6-8 inches of snow and your RPMs are up or down. That guy can just open his side panel. He pushes this out, clicks it to whatever side he wants, drops it back in, off he goes.
Nice.
No fooling around. Sure, so you can get like a hollow pin, a pin like that. They start at a base weight usually around 13 to 16 grams, and then you can start loading that with slugs.
Thread weights in,
Yeah, man, start loading slugs in there. Yeah, if you're getting too high up in your RPM and you can't pull it down with your clickers, you can add some weight. Or if you're not getting high enough up, you can take some weight out of these. So again, depending on what kind of snow conditions you're in or what kind of riding you're doing. On my summit, I have a whole host of stuff that I take out to go to the west versus going to the east for different altitudes.
Wow.
So it's not just a plug and play. I mean, you can, but you're not going to get the most fun or most power out of your sled for sure, right? If you're not doing it right, it's still fun to the average guy, but if you got it set up right, that's where everything's set.
Now I'm going to need some B-roll footage of you on the fucking 850 out west.
Ding 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 dum.
Cover. So as you let off this spring tension, obviously spring's coming up.
So just changing the spring that we're doing changes the RPM, but you can even fine tune it even more with all the other
so
clickers and the weights.
Changing our cut-in RPM. So how much RPMs the sled's actually revving before it engages. So you can see the difference there, right?
Holy.
So that's not to say this one isn't sacked out a little bit, but this one's definitely going to be engaging a little bit higher. It's got a little more spring pressure. So before we put this all together, we're going to cut the tape. We're going to get this thing cleaned up.
Yep.
Come right back.
That's important, right? All your arrows, even on the other side, line up, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
So in these pockets here where your buttons slide, sometimes there's little washers in there. Like at the very bottom, you can kind of see the cutout.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes there's some washers in there, and that's what they actually balance this with. So if you start taking this apart and those arrows aren't together, and that actually comes around to a different spot,
it'd be out of balance.
Start getting some wobble.
Yeah.
Which then starts feeding back through the system, right? Let's give them a little driven home. You can see when this thing's seated.
Yep.
This cup is inside this cup, so you can see inside is beveled.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's actually, I see right there.
So I've seen it where guys take these apart, put it back together, go out for their first ride, and things are binding up. Just bring her down, take it apart, and find that the cap's actually bound. It's not seated right. That way the pressure cap doesn't sit in. Your outer sheave doesn't sit in properly, which is not good. Okay. Alignment marks. We're going to look for the alignment mark on the housing. There it is there. So when these go together, you're going to want to slide them together like that. All your marks line up. Everything's balanced as if it come out of the factory, okay? Just going to go ahead, flip these over. Just like that. Everything's sitting. Again, alignment marks.
Now, did you go to a snowmobile repair school or a small engine school, or what's your?
Yeah,
just learn it.
I took, went to small engine school. I went to Peterborough, marine mechanics license, and then I went through all the stuff at BRP right from the bottom of PDI right up to working on some pretty complex problems with them for temp sensors and electrical, and so yeah, I'm a master tech, as you can see by my sweet certificate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I'm certified
cool.
skidoo, sea-doo, ATV, Can-Am side-by-side, and Can-Am Spider.
Right on. We'll put a link to you down in the description here.
Okay, take this. Just draw it. Because you might be a tooth out because it's splined here, so
Yeah.
I like to just draw it across there. When I'm doing clutch stuff, I don't mind pulling it down a little bit so that after it's running,
You can.
the pull, you can kind of see where it goes up to, right? Alright. Lay those back together.
That actually is pretty good. It's a little off, but you'll never get it right.
You'll never get it right with the spline.
With this, yeah.
Back we go. Finish that off with a nice torque.
Nice. Perfect.
Nice, good.